Welcome back, folks. The race has been delayed due to a lobby glitch, so new lobby is being set up and ready to go. We're just waiting for everyone to come in so that the lobby host can update the grid, make sure the grid is correct. 17 in at the moment, so we're just waiting on the remaining few to come in, and hopefully this race will get underway very, very soon. I can tell you that Colin in the Mercedes is on pole, have NDG in second, and it's Rabico third, and Dan in fourth place for Ferrari. Right, so all 20 drivers are in, so hopefully the host can get the lobby sorted, or get the grid sorted, I should say. So do let us know how Christmas has been for you. I've got a few car models, including the 1959 Lotus as well, the McLaren 1988 car, the Williams 1994, and the Mercedes W10. That's the 2019 Mercedes car, in case you are wondering. So I'm building quite a collection at the moment when it comes to car models. Hopefully I can get a few more in the years to come. I'll get a lot more, I should say. So to update you on the championship standings, Droftus is 21 points clear of Rabico. Now Droftus was knocked out in Q2. I'll line up 11th on the grid, but at least you'll have the choice of what tyres to start the race on. Rabico in P2. Well, second in the championship on 53, and it's Calvin who is not racing this evening on 51. Bruges fourth on 43. So the drivers are ready now, readying up. The speed that the grid is set. Here we are in Portimao, ready to go for the start of this race. So there'll be no formation up, it'll be Heading straight to lights out for the start of this race. 33 laps it'll be. So the sun is shining all around the Portimao track in Portugal. Just a bit of time for the drivers to sort out their setups for the race. Now those who got through in the mediums from Q2 into Q3 must start on the medium compounds, otherwise it can result in a race disqualification. So 20 seconds to go now. And so we await for those 5 red lights to appear. Here we go then. Colin on pole, MDG alongside. They all wait for those 5 red lights to go out, but we are underway for the formation lap. I thought we'd go straight into the race actually, like we've done in previous events, but it is going to be a formation lap. Bearing in mind the drivers did wait a long time actually, so there could be a bit of sign of rustiness from them having to wait so long with the delay. Let's have a look at the grid whilst we are ready to go for the start of this Portuguese Grand Prix. So Colin is on pole with MDG alongside, both starting on the medium compound. Rabico third for McLaren and Dan in fourth. Dean and Albie alongside in 5th and 6th. Dean starting on the mediums. Jaihu and Martin are next in 7th and 8th. Harry and Big Boy round up the top 10. Scotty in 11th alongside Droftus, who will start the race in 12th. Teddy is 13th alongside Bruges. Flicks and Sinix are on row 8. Hamster and Hartnell make up row 9. Gray and Emil round off the grid. There's no drivers on the hard compounds. So the drivers on the mediums, they are Colin, MDG, Dean, Droftus, Teddy, Flicks, Sinix, Hartnell, Gray and Emil. All the others are on the soft compound. So we've got 10 on mediums, 10 on softs. That should make race strategy rather more interesting. We are expecting a one-stop race, depending on how far the drivers can take their first set of tyres. Now Colin won't want to be waiting on the grid for too long. There's a bit of a gap between himself and 5th place Dean, who's only just exiting turn 13. So Colin just backing the field up, so he's not having to wait on the grid for too long. So MDG following suit. There's Rabico as well. Dan not going too fast. Martin just desperate to get onto the grid. The sign is trying to gather some temperature into his tyres, as is Gray. Emil right behind. All come into the grid now as Colin takes up his grid position. So 20 drivers on the grid. We are ready to go for this race. Who will lead into turn 1 first? Colin on pole. MDG alongside in the Williams. And we await for those all-important 5 red lights to come on right now. Colin in the Mercedes. Will he lead into turn 1 first? It's lights out, and away we go. Colin gets off the line fine. MDG reacted slightly better than the Mercedes, and he could lead the field into the first corner. The inside he has, and into the lead he goes. So MDG in front of Colin. Dan also in front of Rabico into 3rd place. And we've got the Alfa Romeo of Albie, who's diving to the inside of McLaren, and Rabico drops back even further. Now he's got the Aston Martin of Dean right alongside. Rabico holds him off for now. So MDG leads, and it's Colin in 2nd place. Dan under threat from the Alfa Romeo, dives to the inside. Contact made between Albie and Colin. So Albie up into third place. He did pick up maybe a little bit of damage. He might have got away with it, you know. But wait and see as the laps clock down for the drivers during this Portuguese Grand Prix. MDG in front then. Colin in second place. Albie making a great start in the Alfa Romeo up to third. Ahead of Dan and Ravico. Dean ahead of Martin. Harry, Jaihu and Big Boy are the remaining drivers within the top 10. And Joftis has dropped down to 13th place, as does Scotty. So both drivers lost a couple of positions at the start to the two Alpines who have got off the line very well. Teddy's dropped back a few positions as well. So the field are coming round to the end of lap 1 with MDG in front. As Colin will get into the slipstream to have a go. He's using his overtake almost. He's not able to get in front. Jaihu in the pits, and someone else has gone into the pits as well. Droftus has also had a moment. So the championship leader in the pits already at the end of lap 1. That's his strategy thrown out of the window. Jaihu also in for damage. So Droftus has got a bit all to do really now between here and the checkered flag. I think a set of hard tyres is going to have to go on for him. He's going to leave himself with too much to do now between lap 2 and the end of the race. Well, Rabico's just got in front of Dean here. These two have been fighting since the start. And Rabico under threat. Dean dive into the inside. Contact made and Dean spins! Dean has spun in the Aston Martin. Rabico shortly has gone off the track a little bit. And I think he got away with it. But Dean's dropped back all the way down to what looks to be 14th position. Hamster looking to get past him in the Red Bull. He dives to the inside. Dean leaves the door open. Hamster tries to get through. Dean runs wide. And Hamster gets in front. It looks like Aidan Gray is looking to get through there in the Williams. Hartnell down the inside of Gray. And Gray loses out as a result of it. So MDG still in the lead. But Colin will fight back, as you would imagine. Big Boy with the fastest lap so far. 1:19.9 for him. He's got a little bit of clear track ahead of him at the moment, and he's under threat from Bruges. Bruges having a good start to this race. Just trying to find where he started the race actually. Bruges started 14th, but he's up to 9th in the Alpine, so he's made a brilliant start to this race. Can he go further? Someone's gone for a spin. That'll be the Mercedes of Teddy. He recovers to the circuit. I wonder, did he use the reset to track? Not 100% sure. That may well be a glitch with the game itself. But that's another driver having his own maladies. Colin under threat from Albie. Remember, Albie started the race on the softs. Colin on the mediums. So we expect Albie to have a tyre advantage at this stage. But those on the softs will start to fall away. So it's important that Albie gets in front of the Mercedes here. And Big Teddy's gone for another spin at turn 8. But has continued. So it's been a race to forget so far for him. The only problem for Albie is that Colin will have the DRS because he's still within a second of MDG as they go over the detection points. And the DRS will open now. He'll get closer. Colin will get closer to the Williams in front, but it won't be close enough to have a go into turn 1. So he stays behind for now. There's Bruges getting in front of Big Boy for 8th. So he gets onto the racing line before he turns into the first corner. Flicks behind Scotty. Scotty's in 10th place now. As Flicks looks to make a move. He will use the DRS on this back straight after turn 4. As we watch further behind, Sinix under threat from the Red Bull of Hamster. Jaihu with the new fastest lap, 1:19.5. He's got a lot of track position to himself, quite frankly. He will be in the pits again later on, so Jaihu just playing for pride, really. The top 15 score points in the CDR. 25 for a win, 20 for second. And then it's 16 for third, 13 for fourth. And then it's 11 for fifth place, I believe. I'll have to double check the point system. But more on that later on, as MDG looks to hold back the Mercedes, who has slightly more ERS in store than the Williams, so Colin will use that to his advantage, although he probably will want to just rely on the DRS to conserve the battery. There he goes, look, DRS open. Probably used a little bit of his ERS to pull alongside, and he's through back into the lead on lap 5. So Colin back where he feels he belongs. He started on pole, dropped to second, and now is back into the lead again after 4 laps. And Rabico in front of Dan. So Rabico into 4th place now, as he goes after the Alfa Romeo of Albi. And there's Flix in 11th position. Scotty, there was just a glitch involving him. Hamster not able to get in front of Dean. Jaihu with another new fastest lap. 1 minute 19.2. He's currently in 19th place. As Colin looks to extend the gap up front. But MDG is still within the DRS range. It's crucial he stays within there, because otherwise, if he's not going to have the DRS, Albi will be. Now we'll wait and see whether MDG is still within a second within the DRS point. I think he is, so he will get the DRS on the pit straight. And Colin with a new fastest lap with a 1:19.1 for him. Martin not able to get by Dan on this occasion. Bruges not able to get in front of Harry. But Bruges on a charge at the moment in the Alpine. He's had a good race so far. Can he keep it up in the laps that follow? Hartnell in 15th ahead of Gray. So Hartnell holding the final points paying position. There is a point also on offer for the driver who sets the fastest lap, but they must finish inside the top 10 in order to get that point. And there's Bruges round the outside of Harry, and up to P7 he goes. That's another clean manoeuvre there from the Alpine. Harry having absolutely no answer to that. Gray picks up the first time penalty of the race, 4 track limits, so hopefully won't get too many more of those as the race progresses. There's Martin running in P6 behind Dan. So 2 Alfa Romeos in the top 6 as we speak. MDG still within DRS range, so he'll be able to use the DRS on the pit straight. And Hartnell's gone for a spin on the exit of turn 13. He joins behind Emil in 17th place. So MDG not able to get through on this occasion. He'll probably want to wait until the pit stops. But he's got to be careful, because all those on these softs will be pitted in soon. Look at that, Rabico hitting the back of Albi into turn 3. I hope that hasn't done too much damage to his front wing. That'll compromise the aerodynamics if it has done. And now he'll be thinking about a move into turn 5, which he doesn't go for. And so he waits behind for now. Now Jaihu over the line. Not a new fastest up this time. Joftis closing in, although Joftis is nearly 7 seconds behind him. So it's damage limitation time for Joftis. And it looks like that Hamster has gone for a spin. I can't really tell. It's Harry who's gone for a spin. He allows his teammate through. Doesn't hold him up. But he's the next to go for a spin at turn 8. And Flix running in 10th ahead of Cynix. There is Scotty ahead. So Flix is in a AlphaTauri sandwich right now. There's Bruges, who is running in 7th, just over 3 seconds off the 6th place man Martin. And you can see Rabico pulling out of the slipstream with the DRS open, passes Albi for 3rd place on lap 8. So it appears to be that he didn't pick up any damage. He was lucky to not do so. You won't want to be running wide too much like that. So Albi, can he respond and get back ahead of the McLaren? And Teddy now with a time penalty for track limits. I think someone posted a new fastest lap. Well, Collins hold the fastest lap with a 1:19.1, so I think that was just a notification of Teddy's time penalty. Flix battling with Cynix, and Flix just remaining in front for now. Then you can see Hamster closing in on these two. Cynix down the inside, does he go for it? too risky from there. And so Flicks hangs on for now. And we're almost getting to the point where the pit window will open for those on the soft compound. Look at that, Flicks getting out of shape slightly out of 13. Sonic's down the inside, I think it's at 14, gets good traction coming out of there, and he's up into 10th place. The only problem he has is that Flicks will have the DRS and so will Hamster, so that overtake may be all for nothing. And look at this, Hamster pulling off a double overtake, and that is a very nice manoeuvre there from the Red Bull driver. He's through and up to 10th place, and MDG's out! MDG has crashed out on the exit of turn 4, and the safety car has been applied, so MDG from 2nd place has crashed on the exit of the 4th corner of this Portimao circuit, and his race has come to an end after just 8 laps. The safety car is out, which is good news for all those on the soft compound, including Rabico, who's up to 2nd place now. He will most certainly be taking the opportunity to pit in at the end of this lap to get a set of the medium compound on, I would think. Jaihu and Droftis are in the pits. Now this has brought these two back into play most certainly, providing they get out before Colin gets round to lap them. Droftis getting the mediums on, out he goes. And these two should be okay. Colin has to adhere to the Delta. Now what will he decide to do here? Will he carry on as he is, or will he come in for the hard compound? No, he's coming in. So he'll most certainly be going onto the hard compound tyre. Rabico also in. Ooh, and Albie got a bit too close there. He should have been slowing down a little bit more. And as you can see, Big Boy also in. I think pretty much the whole field is coming in. Although Cynix has decided to stay out because he knows he'd have been stacked behind his teammate. So I think Cynix is going to be leading the race here. But he's going to be very much out of sync. But at least it opens up another strategy option for him. He can go longer on his mediums and put on the soft compound tyres later. And Rabico has gone onto another set of softs, so that pretty much guarantees he's going to be on a 2-stop strategy. Colin's out on the hard, so Colin will be going to the end of the race on those. So your top 10 so far is that Cynix is leading, albeit not stopped yet. Colin's second, ahead of Rabico. Albie third, Dam fourth. Hartnell's up to fifth, who hasn't pitted, so he's another one who hasn't pitted. Martin 7th, Bruges 8th, Big Boy 9th, and Scotty in 10th. There are some drivers who are going on for a 2-stop strategy now. Jaihu and Droftis have been in the pits twice, and it looks to me that we'll be going to the end of the race on the tyres that they are on. So Droftis has been thrown a lifeline thanks to MDG's exit. The Williams pilot will be gutted with that. That was a good chance for him to score some much needed points. Instead, he'll be watching the remainder of this on the sidelines. So, Droftis coming out of turn 8. The safety car will be staying out there for another lap. So Droftis will have enough time to catch up to the back of them before this race gets back underway again. And Dean now with a penalty for ignoring yellow flags. I wonder what that is all about. Well, Hartnell's in the pits, as is Teddy. He will be going on to the hard compound. I think Teddy started the race on the mediums, then went on to the softs, and now is going into a set of hards. And Harry now with a penalty for a collision with Emil under the safety car. He may dispute that afterwards, but it is what it is, and he'll have to live with that for now. So we're now on lap 11, 1/3 distance. So Synix leading the field round. And Hamster's also out. Now what's happened here? Has he come together with someone? Oh, he's spun into the barrier just before turn 6. That's 3 races in a row that Hamster does not finish. So I don't know what that is all about, but he's dropped it on the exit of turn 5. He must have lit up the rear tyres and dropped it all by himself, unless someone had tipped him into the barrier, which is unlikely. So Hamster is also out. So Synix will lead the field through turn 13. The safety car's lights are off. So Synix will go when he is ready to do so. Hartnell had been in the pits for a change of tyres, so that leaves Synix the only driver yet to come into the pits. He must do so. It would have been a dry race to use at least 2 different dry compounds. He's on the medium, so I would imagine he'll stretch his stint before he comes in for the softs. Going very slowly at the moment. He does not want to give Colin or Rabico the slipstream. It's gone now though. No one's allowed to pass him until the green flags. We're back underway here in Portugal. And it looks like the order is what it is right now, as Dan looks to get a move on Albie. Can't quite do so. And see further behind, a little bit of jostling for position as Flicks dives down the inside of Dean into turn 3. Can't make the move stick. There's Gray on the inside of Harry. Harry runs wide. He won't like that. And look at this, Rabico is now ahead of Colin on the soft compound. Now, we expected that to happen because Rabico is on the softs, Colin is on the hard, so it may prove to be irrelevant that Rabico's got past because he is almost certain to be pitting again before this race is over. He'll be right behind Synix very shortly. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart, so Synix has got an opportunity to build up a gap from those behind him before the DRS is enabled. There's Martin fighting with Dan over 5th place. So Martin behind as Dean gets past Big Boy, as does Scotty, who could make a move on the pair of them here. Nearly contact with Dean, but avoided it in time. And so they carry on as they are. There is Rabico going off track and getting a time penalty. So Rabico's race has taken a turn for the worse. He gets past Synix on the inside into turn 5. Synix trying to fight back, but he knows he's on a different strategy to Rabico. And so Rabico has the chance to pull away. So Rabico's got with it all to do really now between here and the checkered flag. And so Colin is right behind Synix. He'll be desperate to get in front now. Rabico is out of DRS range now, which is good news for him. And posting a new fastest lap, 118.8. As we watch Martin make a move on Dan. On the inside as they approach turn 1. And Martin's through into 5th. As we watch Flicks behind Jaihu in the fight for 14th. Flicks on the inside. Bit of contact there with Jaihu, but at least the point's in the right way. Joftis is up to 13th place now on the medium compound. He's slicing his way through the field. Important for the championship. I think that's another question as well. When Rabico comes in for his pit stop, will he get out in front of Joftis? And Dan with a time penalty for track limits. He's the latest recipient for track limits. 2 seconds is the gap now between Rabico and Synix. but Colin will surely get in front on the pit straight with the DRS. So Colin gets past the AlphaTauri to go up into P2. No problem at all. Sainz in third, Albie fourth, Martin, Dean and Dan are next. And we've got Bruges in eighth. Having a very strong race so far. No penalties at the moment for him. He can go to the end of the race on the medium compound. And now he's under threat from Scotty here, who will be fancying his chances. Goes to the outside late on the brakes. Does he complete the move? He's still alongside. I think he can pull off a brilliant manoeuvre through sixth. On the inside for 7. Will he get through? Yes, he will. So Scotty through past the Alpine and puts his AlphaTauri up into 8th place. Sainz now sitting in 3rd place. It's just a matter of how far he can take those medium tyres now. Scotty with a time penalty for track limits. Now Sainz is almost going to be a sitting duck on the pit straight. He needs a strong exit coming out of turn 14, which he does through there. But I think Albie's going to have too much straight line speed when they come onto the pit straight. Here we go, look. Is Albie close enough as they approach turn 1? No, he's not. Sainz holds him off for now. But I'd imagine Albie will be having a go on the back straight, which is where the second DRS zone is. There are 2 DRS zones on this racetrack, one on the pit straight, one in between turns 4 and 5. Sainz holds the Alfa Romeo off for now. There's Martin under threat from Dean, who we expect to see him in the pits again before this race is over. So as we watch the field filter their way through, and someone's gone off. It's Scotty. Scotty is off. Polystyrene block broken. The front wing's gone. And that's a really bad error for him. He'll be back in the pits for absolutely sure. And this could really spell the end of his race for him if he decides to call it a day. It's been another night to forget for him. Not the Happy New Year he was looking for. Albie behind Sainz. Dean gets past Martin. Bit of contact. That could have ended in tears, but luckily it didn't. Dean is through into 5th. Albie behind Sainz as they go through turn 4. DRS open on the Alfa Romeo. Does Albie go for a lunge down the inside into turn 5? The answer to that question is a no. Scotty in the pits for AlphaTauri. Now, does he decide to carry on? If so, what compound is he going to go on? I think he's going to be on the mediums, to be honest with you. Because there's no way he'll get to the end on a set of softs. Yeah, he's back on the set of mediums. So, Scotty will not be happy with that. He'll have to hope for another safety car to get himself back into the action. So Dean behind Albie. And Sainz has managed to bridge out a gap on them, so he's almost leaving them for dead. Now, is Dean able to get in front of Albie? Because I think Albie will still have the DRS on the pit straight. Albie's got the DRS, so Sainz will need to watch his mirrors here. Albie thinks about it, but decides against it. So Sainz doing very well to hold these drivers off. Flix is in the pits, presumably with front wing damage. I don't know if he's had it coming together with Scotty. And he's out of the race. So Flix, another retirement for him. That's his second non-finish of the season. He already retired from Zandvoort. And he's out again here in Portugal. Albie still not able to make a move, and this is playing into the hands of Colin and Rabico. Because the further Rabico can go and build out a gap, the better it will be for when he does come out on his final set of tyres. Bearing in mind, Rabico does have a 3-second time penalty. Harry gets his second time penalty of the race. This time for track limits. So 3 drivers out then, after 17 laps. Rabico starts lap 19 in the lead, Colin in P2. He will be in the lead once Rabico does come in for his last stop. Synix still able to hold off Albie. This has been a sterling performance from Synix. And Bruges now with a time penalty, unfortunately, for track limits. So that's another penalty being dished out. And Joftis, meanwhile, can he get in front of Big Boy here into turn 5? He sends one down the inside. That's a bit too risky. However, Big Boy runs wide and Joftis is through. So 10th place goes to the Ferrari. Joftis making a fight back in this race. But is his medium starting to fall away? So the next man ahead of him is Bruges in the Alpine. And it looks like that Dean has got in front of Albie now for 4th place. So Dean on the soft compound. We expect him to be in the pits again. And now Dean will have the DRS behind Synix. Now is this going to be a change of position? I think it will be, because Dean is very much within range into the slipstream. DRS open, pull alongside, and he is through into 3rd place. So Dean passed Albie on the last lap, passes Synix on this lap, and he's up to 3rd place. He does have a penalty hanging over him as well, bearing in mind. Harry in the pits for a change of tyres. At least he can take some of his penalty at his pit stop. He's needing a new front wing as well, so that's Harry's race wrecked pretty much. And he'll have Scotty for company when he comes back out. So Rabico's lead is 3.5 seconds over Colin. And if we do get another safety car later on, it's going to make for an intense finish to this race. Like what we saw a couple of rounds ago in Hungary, where Michael, who's not competing today, he's serving as a reserve for this season. He was running in the lead, trying to build up a gap with the penalty he had, dropped it, and that handed the lead to Jaihu for about half a lap. And then he got overtaken on the pit straight by Joftis, who went on to take the victory then. That was some brilliant action back then. And if that was brilliant, I highly doubt we won't get a similar scenario here. And Joftis in the pits, which is a bit of a surprise. Now, has he made contact with someone? I think he has, because I think a new front wing is ready for him. So another turn for the worse for him. Yeah, a new front wing's going on, so Joftis could be falling out of the points here. This is playing into Rabico's hands. He could be leading the championship if he wins this one. I don't think he will win it. Definitely not with the penalty hanging over him, and of course with the pit stop expected to come for him. He's been on the softs for 11 laps now, and someone's gone off in sector 1. That will be Joftis, and the Ferrari's gone for a spin, so it's just going from bad to worse for him now as Harry gets past into 15th place. And Scotty in the pits and out. So Scotty, the reigning world champion, is out of the Portuguese Grand Prix. No points again for the AlphaTauri driver. It's been another race to forget for him. So Rabico in the pits. And Dean in the pits now for his final set of tyres in the Aston Martin. And I think he'll be able to take some of his penalty in this pit stop as well. So at least he'll be penalty free at the end of the race. Aidan Gray's also in for his second stop. And it looks like Albie and Martin have got in front of Synix. So Synix is behind both Alfa Romeo drivers now. And he must be feeling like his tyres have fallen away now. And he's struggling to keep up. There's a yellow flag. That'll be Emil, I think, who's gone for a spin in the Red Bull. He's carried on, though. He's down in 12th place, but he could be on course for points if he keeps it on track. So Albie is in 3rd place then. Martin, who's on the mediums, is right behind in 4th place. His teammate lets him through, though, so Albie knows that Martin is on a different strategy to him. So what he needs to do is just keep Sinix behind, really. Now, Sinix has to make a pit stop at some point before this race is over. Will he do it at the end of this lap, I wonder? Or will he carry on for another lap? Well, he's within DRS range to keep up with Albie and Martin as Rabico's in. So Rabico in for his final stop. Where will he come out in regards to traffic? Well, Sinix has stayed out. Rabico out on his way. I think he's going to rejoin ahead of his teammates. So Rabico will rejoin in 10th place. And Jaihu and Teddy fighting over 8th place now. Jaihu on the inside of the Merc, and he's through and takes the position away from Henke. So Henke overtaken, still on course for points at the moment. Now Rabico's rejoined on a set of mediums, which is interesting. I suppose he's done the opening 2 stints on the soft compound, hence why he went on the mediums. So he can go lightning quick on these tyres now. So Colin's the new race leader, 4.8 seconds in front of Martin, who's in 2nd. And it's Albie in 3rd place. Sinix still keeping up in 4th. Dean with a time penalty for track limits. So he won't be going to the end of the race penalty free. And neither will Bruges. Another penalty for him. And Sinix comes into the pits at the end of lap 23. And Bruges is in behind. He's wanting a set of soft tyres, as is Jaihu. So Rabico won't have to deal with those 3. And he'll go for the fastest lap, I would imagine, whilst he's pursuing the Mercedes ahead. So Sinix rejoins behind the Aston Martin. Does he get in front of the Williams? No, he doesn't. He's behind the Williams, and Sinix rejoins in 11th. Bruges gets out in front of Emil. No problem there for him. Jaihu will rejoin behind Droftus and Harry. So Jaihu down at the back now. So there's Colin looking very, very good for victory. His best result has been a 9th in China. And a DNF at Silverstone is the only other race he's done this season, but he's looking good for 25 points. That will significantly increase his championship total. 5 seconds in front now of Martin. As you can see, Albie with the DRS open. What will happen here? Well, Albie, is he going back through on Martin? He thought about it, but decides to wait behind. Now, Big Boy and Dan are staying out as well. They are going to go to the end, I would think. Well, Rabico is closing in on Teddy for 6th place. Now, Sinix is behind Gray in the fight for 10th. Doesn't go for it there. May get a good exit coming out of turn 5 though, if he's clever. Oh, and Gray gets a kick of wheel spin on the exit of turn 8, and he's allowed Sinix to pull alongside, and Sinix is through surely. Well, Gray's on the inside. Well, he's let the AlphaTauri through anyway. That was a glitch from what I saw. But Sonic's is through into 10th position. There's Hartnell on his 14-lap-old hards. Dean on his 3-lap-old softs. And I think there's only going to be one winner on this occasion. And so Dean gets the DRS open. And this is going to be him sailing past the McLaren, although Jay Hartnell should still be in front going into turn 1. And so Rabico not able to get in front of the Merc. And there is Rabico behind Teddy. So Teddy trying to go defensive here. Rabico will have the DRS. He'll pull alongside. Teddy doesn't fight it, and so Rabico is through into 6th place. There's Big Boy next up, 6 seconds ahead of Rabico. Sonic's through ahead of Dean for 8th. No problem for him there. There's Hartnell having another good race in the McLaren so far tonight. There's Gray looking to score points, but he won't do because he's broken his front wing, getting too close to the McLaren. He may as well just carry on going to the end, I would think. But he's going to lose an awful amount of time with that damage. So Droftus, as it stands, is on course for 2 points. And Rabico, who's running in 6th, with the penalties as they are, he is on course to collect £10 points for finishing 6th. I think he may have the point for the fastest lap as well. No, it's not. It's Droftus who has that. So Rabico would get 10 points, Droftus only 2, so the championship gap between those would come down to, at the moment, is 13 points going to the next round in Australia in a week's time. And Gray's in the pits for a new front wing. Now is he going to choose to carry on? Well, Dean and Synix tangling there almost, and Synix staying in front for now. Dean will want to get back into the action here. Synix trying to hold him off. And down with another time penalty, unfortunately. So as it stands, he's about to lose 4th place to Big Boy. Albi, as it stands, is on course to finish 2nd once Martin's penalty has been applied. And Martin, as it stands, is on course for 3rd once the penalties have been applied. And should Martin finish 3rd, he would collect 16 points from this race, which will take his total to 52, and move in front of Calvin into 3rd place. Well, Droftus is now in 13th, so that's another point gain for him. He's behind Emil now, so I think Droftus will get in front of him before this race is over. Bruges in front of Hartnell on the track. So we've got 5 laps to go in this race here at Portimao. Colin looking very good for victory. Now 25 points will take his total of 7 up to 32, which will put him comfortably into the top 10. Looking very, very good for him. I'm just thinking Martin, who's now let Albie through, will want to keep up with him and keep using the DRS so that Dan doesn't get too close. So Rabico going after Big Boy. 4 laps remaining. He's on 13 laps fresher tyres than the Haas. Looking very, very good. And I'll tell you what, if he can get within 3 seconds of Dan, which at the moment he's not, he could get 4th from this race. So Droftus is in 12th place now, past Emil. He's got 7 seconds to make up though on Jane Hartnell ahead. Now, is he within a second of Big Boy? No, he's not yet. So Rabico will have to wait a little bit longer before he can use the DRS. 1.2 seconds is the gap. And Sinex. And Dean has gone off the track on the exit turn 14. He's lost a couple of positions there. And he's got carried away now. And he's off the track. Make sure you keep your driving standards in check there, Dean. And Jaihu gets past. And Dean, I think, will... Does he go into the pits? Yes, he does. I think this is going to be a retirement for him. And so Dean into the pits. Unless he decides to go for a fastest lap or something. He's down to 16th. And Dean seems to have left the session, which is wrong, because he's supposed to be retiring the car. Well, Colin is about the penultimate lap of this race. As we watch Rabico close in on Big Boy, he's very much within range to have a go. Big Boy, I think, won't fight it that much. I think he knows that Rabico will have the upper hand. And so he gets into 5th position. And he goes through. So nicely done there for Rabico. He's now 3 seconds behind Dan. So he just needs to get within 3 seconds of him. And he will go up into 4th place by the end of this race. He's not going to have enough time to catch him. He just needs to get within 3 seconds. There's Albie, who's over 8 seconds off the lead. And Jaihu now in front of Emil for 12th place. Droftus up to 11th, thanks to Dean's error. If he can get to within 6 seconds of Bruges, at the moment he's 8 seconds behind him. So I don't think Droftus is going to do enough here to take that away from him. Plus Bruges is on better tyres than Droftus anyway. We're now on the last lap. Colin has started it. It's been a brilliant performance for him from pole position. As we watch Albie hold off Martin, who's trying to keep up with him. Pull away from Dan. And pull away from Rabico. Rabico now 2 seconds behind Dan. As it stands, Rabico will be going to 4th position. And if Martin picks up another penalty, Rabico will be heading to the podium. So Colin, who is making his way through, heading towards victory. It's been a fairly dominant drive, a very commanding performance from him after a disappointing start to the season. He's going to be returning to winning ways, which we haven't seen since last season. So Colin, for Mercedes, exiting turn 14 into the last corner of turn 15. Is going to come through on the pit straight to win the Portuguese Grand Prix in Portimao. Colin takes it here in Portugal. Albi will be coming through to finish in second place for Alfa Romeo. It's very well deserved, very commanding drive from him. Martin will be on the podium, so 2 Alfa Romeos on the podium. Rabico 4th, ahead of Dan, who drops to 5th with the penalty applied. Big Boy will be 6th. Now Teddy, at the moment, is 7th, but should Sinix remain within 6 seconds of him, he'll go to 7th, but in fact, he can't quite do that. Sinix is 8th, Bruges 9th, and it's going to be Jay Hartnell rounding out the top 10. Droftus very close behind in 11th, and then we've got Jaihu in 12th, and then going to be Emil, Harry, Gray will take the final point in 15th place. Dean did get to the end of the race with his car being controlled by the AI, but it's no points for him on this occasion. But there's your race winner. It is Colin for Mercedes here in Portugal. He is back in the hunt for the championship. So there we are, Colin on the podium with the 2 Alfa Romeos of Albi and Martin. Alfa Romeo doing a fine job here today. And so will that form continue between now and the end of the season? There is Australia coming up, which will be another test for the drivers. We've been a street circuit, the barrier's been so close. One mistake could make the difference between winning and losing. So here's your race result then from Portimao. Colin wins ahead of Albi in second place. Martin third ahead of Rabico, who closes down the championship gap between himself and Droftus. Dan fifth ahead of Big Boy. Teddy seventh ahead of Sinix, Bruges and Jay Hartnell rounding out the top 10. Droftus 11th, doesn't get the point for fast up unfortunately. Jaihu was 12th. Emil 13th. Harry 14th. Gray picking up the last point in 15th on his maiden Tier 1 appearance in the CDR. Dean was the last of the finishers in 16th place. Scotty retired, as did Flix, Hamster and MDG. Well, the gap in the championship with Rabico picking up 13 points, Droftus picking up only 5. The gap at the top has come down to 13 points between those two. There'll be drivers making up good ground on them as well in the races to come. So all that remains for me to say is thank you very much for joining us. Do make sure you like and subscribe in case you haven't already done so. And we'll look to do it again this time next week at Albert Park. I'm Tom Cans, and I'll speak to you again soon when the CDR returns.